Husband and wife were living what appeared to be an ordinary, happy life together with their baby, who had just turned 3. They were the picture-perfect family, or so it seemed. The wife had been secretly seeing her office mate for over 6 months, and he would visit the house whenever the husband was at work. The baby, innocent and unaware of the world around him, would play with his toys, completely oblivious to the deceit happening in the background. At night, the husband and wife would sit together, feeding their baby spoonfuls of Gerber sweet potato puree, laughing and pampering him. The husband had no reason to suspect anything was wrong. The wife seemed loving and devoted, and their life was peaceful. But one morning, as the husband was getting ready for work, he couldn't find one of his socks. He searched everywhere, growing frustrated. Eventually, he bent down and looked under the bed, and there he found a sock, but it wasn't his sock. The realization hit him like a brick. The sock was much larger, and it clearly didn't belong to him. A wave of suspicion washed over him. Something wasn't right. From that moment, the husband began to pay closer attention to the details he had once overlooked. He started to rewind everything he had noticed in the past few months. One thing stood out. Whenever he called his wife during office hours, he could hear their baby's voice in the background. If she was at work, why was the baby always with her? The answer became clear. She wasn't at work. The baby was always at home. The husband, an economics graduate with a sharp mind, knew one thing. Babies, especially at this age, mimic everything they see. They imitate the world around them without realizing it. So he came up with a plan, one that would allow the baby to unknowingly reveal the truth. As their baby's birthday approached, the husband bought him a special gift, a mini-city Lego set. The set had everything: a park, a cafe, little shops, and most importantly, he replicated their bedroom perfectly in Lego form. He included 2 male action figures, 1 female and 1 baby. He hoped the baby's play would reflect the hidden dynamics in their home. The baby loved the gift. Over the next few days, he spent hours playing with the mini-city. The husband watched closely, observing how the child arranged the figures. What struck him was how often the baby would place the lady figure between the 2 men, moving them around the house. It was subtle, but the husband couldn't ignore it. The child was revealing something without even realizing it. Growing more suspicious, the husband decided to take his plan further. One morning, before leaving for work, he discreetly placed a small camera in the baby's room, hidden among the toys. He didn't say a word to his wife, acting as if everything was normal. After leaving for work, he parked a few streets away and watched the live feed from the camera on his phone. His heart sank as he saw what he had feared. Shortly after he left, his wife's office mate arrived at the house. They greeted each other with an unsettling familiarity. The office mate sat in the living room, playing with the baby as if he belonged there. The husband watched in shock as they laughed and talked, acting like a family in the very room where his own child played. That evening, the husband said nothing. He sat down for dinner, feeding the baby as usual, his mind racing. He knew now that his wife had been deceiving him all along. The baby, who had unknowingly been part of this secret life, had given him the proof he needed. But the final piece of evidence came in a way the husband never expected. One afternoon, while playing with the baby, the child picked up one of the Lego men and whispered something too soft to hear. Intrigued, the husband asked, "What did you say?" The baby, barely able to speak clearly, mimicked the word he had heard before. Hide. Chills ran down the husband's spine. The child had been observing more than anyone realized. The next day, the husband watched the footage once more. As his wife and her office mate entered the house, he noticed the baby quietly playing behind the couch, witnessing everything. The child had hidden, just as he had learned from the adults. With undeniable proof in hand, the husband realized that the truth was not only revealed, but exposed by the innocence of their own child. His wife had been caught not by a confrontation, but by the unwitting mimicry of their baby.